How's it going, everybody? It's Wednesday night. It's November 2nd. Um, I got excited, wanted to kind of do a little video for people because I get asked this a lot, and it's a cop out if I can't give you an answer, which is when people say, "Hey Ken, what do I play today?" You spend all day with the algorithm. What do I play, man? And I'm like, I'm so scared to give advice because I don't want to let you down. And there's the part of me that really likes to be sure whenever I give anybody advice. So to get into something like giving people gambling advice is like, oh my God, I don't want to be responsible for that. Even though I create the algorithms, and so that's why I create the algorithms is they're supposed to say things like number one pick rank, and you're supposed to take it, right? It's supposed to be easy. But there is a little more to it. And so I don't want to give the cop out answer. I want to go through the answer. And that's kind of what got me excited is I felt like I have a way to answer this question, especially through doing videos. So and I want to I have so much experience wagering in so many different ways that I want to explain what better ways are for optimal like day to day versus crazy week to week and month to month stuff. So last night I did a video, for example, and I talked about the games. And then I went to bed. I had $77 in my account. I know I'm a rich man, right? Now I refuse to. I refuse to basically lose more than $100 in a day. There's a couple days before where I've put in a few $100s, or I've had a big bankroll in there that I don't cash out right away, and I bet too much and I've lost, and I feel awful. Like if I start to bet chunks of money, I feel like this is money I could have spent on buying my kid hockey equipment. Like I can't lose an entire amount of hockey skates and hockey bag and everything in one night. That is just that's irresponsible too, even no matter how much money you have. It's just, I just can't do it. So I stick to like basically below $100 most of the time because I don't win every day. But I've watched my bankroll and I am up slightly for the year. I'd love to say that I'm up a ton. I'm not. I was up as much as like $3,800 at some point this year, but I'm not even close to that now. I'm actually just barely above even overall for the year when it comes to these bets and betting like this. And I'm actually down net on FanDuel this year because I do so many crazy things on FanDuel, and I've lost every single football week this year. I've put $100 on every Sunday, and I've basically lost it all almost every Sunday so far. So I'm down, because of that on FanDuel, even though I'm up overall. But point is I do this a lot, and I usually tell people, this is what I do, and it's fun. And the days that it comes in, which are very, very rare, it looks incredible. Well, that's not a solution to what do you play today, Ken? Because you don't, if you want to win today, you don't necessarily play this. You play certain other things. So I did a video the other week, like last week, I think, with straight bet picks, and it went very well and it won. And there are cash out options in the middle of games that you can take advantage of, even though for the purpose of this video, we'll say that that's not available and that you can only make a straight bet because I want to give something that everybody could do. Well, there's certain things you can do. Games have already started tonight, but I want to talk about why I've been copping out with an answer and not giving you a full in-depth answer and saying just read the algorithm, but there's more to it than that. There's more to it than saying to bet Buffalo at even money today. There's more to this game. And that's why I have something else on here, because I have alternate over 7.5 at plus 150, I think it is, but I don't even know what the line is. I'm going through things and I want to say here's interesting stuff. Basically, look at what's happening in this game. This is a really close game. This is bad goaltending, red and yellow goaltending. Not a good goalie like you have here in Samsonov, who I think is playing, but red and bad goaltending. It's predicting goals. These teams have offense. Pittsburgh just loses a big scoring game last night. Buffalo's been playing well. So it's about this game having goals, and you can get a better line than 100 on something other outcome in this game. And this is the kind of level of detail and analysis that you want to go through when you're making straight bets, because you're going to be rewarded more frequently because you only have to hit one to get paid. So I can go through the entire sheet and go through the straight bets. I have not made them yet. I would like to, but if I don't get them in tonight, let's just simulate what they would be. But these are the kind of bets you want to make right before the game, because you could be betting more money on them, because they're not like this. They're not where you have to hit a bunch to win. It's definitely a one-off, and you can be watching these games. One of the things that I kind of overdo it is I start doing, like, wait till college basketball starts, but I start doing so many bets. Like I'll have like 90 bets going at night because I've kind of, try to run through a program to put a ton of different stuff out there. And I want to get as many options. I want to have everything, I have such an open mind with what I want to bet because I don't mind losing the $100. It certainly doesn't, I don't feel a stinger when I lose $100 every night. I feel like I had one of those nights where I didn't win, which is very frequent. And so, but no, people don't have a stomach for that. So you got to do it in a different way. And I get it. I get it. So you need to look for good lines and you need to let the algorithm tell you where to go for good lines. So it's the alternate over in this game at a better line. I already wanted to do that. And so did that. What about the Philly game? And this is why I got excited to do this video. Because I want to talk about how and why I made this wager last night. It's the same wager, or maybe I would have taken Philadelphia to win, but probably not. Even though they're up 1-0 right now, I still probably would not have taken them to win. I'll explain why. So this game looks like a much closer game, this Philly-Toronto hockey game. We're going to get to basketball after I'm done with this discussion real quick, but I want to talk about people who have the NHL Excel file and what you could do with it. Close game. I know from anecdotally, at least I feel that from watching Philadelphia games this season, they've been playing excellent. They've been fighting people, really good teams, and like tying them or taking them into overtime. They're not losing a lot of games by more than a goal when they do lose. How do I check their history to verify that? Well, here's how you do it. First of all, what team are we talking about? This is a slicer for team. We're talking about Philadelphia. What day are we talking about? We're talking about all the days they played games. This was almost helpful. It says we're 2-3 with Philadelphia historically, I think. But it doesn't have the other team. We can't see what's going on. How do we get it there? Here's how we get it there. We go to slicer. We go to insert. Sorry. Click in the pivot table. We go to pivot table analyze. We go slicer, insert slicer. We go to game. Okay. Game, I believe it is. Not number, but game. And all the games that have Philadelphia in it just came up here in the slicer, and they're sub-highlighted right now. See this? These are the games we want to show. We just highlight them with the mouse. And then we unfilter the team slicer, and we're going to get them. Bam. So we just created the historical schedule for Philadelphia, and we can now, really do some more analysis about what we want to look at. So what do I want to look at? I want to look at whether or not they're losing games by more than a goal. And the answer is, let's see what they won and what they lost by unhiding. Philadelphia's right here. Philadelphia, we had the game. Sorry, we don't care about this. Care about if the team won. So I guess that's kind of tougher to look at, but we gotta go game by game, right? So Philadelphia in the first game, we did really well and they won. Philadelphia the second game, they won. Everybody was beating Vancouver. Philadelphia beat Tampa Bay. Philadelphia only lost by a goal to Florida. Philadelphia beat Nashville, so does everybody else. Philadelphia lost here by 3. So here Philadelphia actually did lose a game by more than 1.5. So that's 1. Philadelphia wins by a goal. Philadelphia loses by just a goal. Philadelphia loses by just a goal. So this is the recency bias that I was thinking of, and I forgot about this game in San Jose. So there's only 1 out of like 4 losses, right, that they had that they lost by more than a goal only 1 time this season. And they're playing Toronto, a team that can score, don't get me wrong. But the way they play, it's not likely that they lose the game by more than a goal. If they lose it all and they're already up 1-0, which is, it didn't say take them. Keep that in mind. It did not say take them to win anywhere in here. So I didn't take them to straight win, but it did say close game. So that's the pick that goes on here, even though it's only plus 110. And some people that have a stomach on a straight bet, that understand the Flyers are a good team and want to bet against Montreal, you do take that. And let's pretend that that's on there, because if I had a bankroll of say we're splitting up $100 or whatever for the day, we've got 10 picks. I probably would use this on a night like tonight, although I don't know how many NBA picks there are, because that's going to be the rest of the picks tonight. They're going to be NBA. So let's go look at the NBA file. Game's already started here. So I opened up all of the odds because I want to be able to look at everything. So when the margin goes to below 0, which is like right at this line right here, okay, in this sense, I'll even put a line in there right now so that we know it's right here. This is where it says all of a sudden that it favored this team instead of this team. Like it favors the Mavericks barely. See this? They're on both sides of this game. Right here. They're favored by 0.2%, but they're also not favored because it favors the Utah Jazz. Sorry, it doesn't favor the Utah Jazz. But this is our line where all of a sudden the team of reference becomes the team we don't favor anymore right here. And it flipped. Okay. So looking at it this way, I've also said that there's a range. There's a range where games are toss-up games. That's this range right here. So let's call this the toss-up range and highlight these teams. This is anywhere between under 10% or negative 10%. So we're going to highlight this area. So these are the games where anybody can win, right? Well, now let's look and see where the picks are. Milwaukee, no good line against Detroit. I can't do anything in this game. So I just, I'm like, all right, well, can't do anything here. So, whoops, what did I just do? So I'm gonna like darken it out or something. You're like, all right, not even looking at it. Can't do anything there. Next, Pelicans. Are the Lakers super hurt? Because that makes this somehow a really good bet, right? There's this weird 63% injury situation going on. So let's go into the injury report and look. And I made the injury report look really cool in the Google Sheet now. So here's the Google Sheet rendering for the day, which I believe is accurate. And it resorts the injury report better. It's also in the Excel file, which is right here. This injury pivot table. So it's showing people that are playing. Who's this person, by the way? It doesn't have a team. Joshua Primo. Who does he play for? I might have him on the wrong team. So I got to fix that. Next, so we get to look at injuries by who's playing, how many people are playing. Like this is saying that Brooklyn's fairly healthy, pretty healthy, but game time decision people are right here. And, let's start to look and start answering our questions about everything. So New Orleans taking on the Lakers. Are the Lakers hurt? And also, how hurt is New Orleans? The answer is Pelicans are, first of all, Lakers. LeBron is game time with a foot. Foot's probably play. Back, I don't know about. Back can be bad. Ankle probably play. So the question is, does LeBron play or not? And if he does, let's assume he does for the purpose of this betting, because that makes a difference about how much you're discounting the Lakers. There's still a 22%. Even if he plays, there's still a 22% margin because the health is not being included. So it really favors the Pelicans heavily, and potentially there are injuries on the Lakers making their lives even worse. So what do you do here? Unfortunately, it's not an underdog, but it is a really good pick. And it's saying that they cover that spread by 10 points. So I'm kind of torn on the advice actually to give you here, because I don't like not picking good lines. So does that mean, do you take the Pelicans -9 or something? I don't like that either. I think you just take them to win, even though it doesn't pay good. I hate this straight bet wise. This is why this bet is made for a round robin or a parlay. I want to see how it doesn't pay great, but the answer is that they're really supposed to win. So you can't say no to that on that game, because there's not really much else to play other than an alternate spread. And I'm not going to mess around with giving you advice to take alternate spreads when you're giving points. It's bad. So let's talk about the games that are a little easier to bet. So there's the Cavs, but they got some injuries against the Celtics, which I think have a pretty good reputation. It says there's a 16% margin here in this season. What about last season? I'll check that game out for a second. Last season stats. Notice our lines are going to switch around, and the Cavs are not favored. As a matter of fact, the Celtics have a 10% margin in last season. So when you see that, you go back to current season, see that, and you think, well, this is a newer season. The Cavs must be better. Well, what about their injury situation? Well, injuries on the Cavs. Cleveland. I can be bad. He got poked in the eye. You can't see it. I mean, I feel like they would have made him out if it was too swollen or something, but probably playing illness. When I start to see illness, I start to wonder if illnesses are spreading around the team because, hey, people catch illnesses and they give them. So anytime I see illness, regardless of whether or not it's COVID, and I'm okay with them not saying COVID-19, because by the way, if you look at the Jazz today, there's 2 COVID-19s on the Jazz. And that really spoke to me and said, oh, wow, okay, COVID's going through the Jazz. So good to know because COVID's going through the Jazz. And that means everybody they played recently just got exposed to COVID. So, but I don't mind if they call it illness. I'm actually going to assume illness and COVID are the same thing. And Ken, like, why are you doing that? I'd be like, you know what? Because they are the same thing. If you're sick or you're sick from a certain virus or not, that is endemic rolling around, you're still sick and you're probably going to survive, whether it's a flu or whether it's COVID, if you're in good shape. So, and you're vaccinated. I'm talking to you. Is it Kyrie? Right? Whatever. Point is that you see illness, start to wonder if people are sick. And by the way, did Cleveland just play Utah? Should we look at that? We could look at that in history, but I wouldn't worry about it. Point is, let's go back. I'm seeing sickness on the Cavs. I'm seeing the Cavs not even favored last year. And it's making me not want to, it's making me regret what I did last night after I just realized that. And now I'm thinking I might not win this game. All right. So what do you do in that game now? Well, I say nothing because I don't like the factors other than the margin that are pointing at the Cavs, and the line's not excellent, and they're a little injured. So we're going to pass over that game also. Right. This is how you do structured betting and tempered betting is you don't mess with stuff that doesn't confirm. Now, Portland, Memphis. Injuries on both, which may be tough to read, but provide some opportunity when we read it and hopefully read it appropriately. Nice line at plus 160. Let's check it out. So we're talking about Portland and Memphis. So Memphis, team that's playing against, all game time decisions. These people might go, but there's an illness here and a jaw. Boy, they really get descriptive. I'm guessing the ankle is going to be okay, but illness not good. So that's a good sign for against Memphis. But let's see what the injuries are for it's Portland, right? Yeah, let's go see what the injuries are for Portland. It's here. Concussion. All right. The only good thing about I don't want to say good thing about a concussion. The only good thing is this is not an illness. As much as there's a different recovery system here. I'll assume concussion means out if it's still listed because usually they give a hard return date for most concussions, but I don't know how bad the concussion was. Calf, I feel like plays. Calf is a playable thing. So, oh no, he's out. Sorry, the calf is out. So there are injuries on Portland. So that makes it. I'm okay with those injuries. No, it's not illness. If I'd seen illness, I would be more concerned actually. So they're slightly healthier, and you may have sickness going around Memphis, and you got an underdog and 12%. That makes perfect sense to take Portland plus 160. This is why Portland is better than the Cavaliers, and I did not identify that last night when I did the video, but I do now. And I took them actually plus 3.5, but on the round robin because I like getting some points. But here we're going to take Portland to win at plus 160 because this is a straight bet. So it's a different pick anyway. That's okay. Next, Sixers and Wizards. This game's already going on. So we got 10% margin here. I took the Wizards plus 8 on my other pick already. It's actually and I'm sorry, it's not necessarily a no bet game. It's actually Washington plus 220 because they're healthier. But let's double check that. Let's look at Philly's injuries. Illness, told you. That's why. I think I saw that, and that's why I made the bet last night. Is I like to go against teams that are sick. Shocker, right? Here you go. Knicks, illness too, right? So that's why I took the Wizards on the straight bet here, and that's why you see that there. But that's me going a little above and beyond in the algorithm, and it's not necessarily correct. It would just I'm going off of illness right there. Next, all right, but that's kind of a no bet game because it's really on the cusp. Next, Charlotte and Chicago. Underdog line. Trying to get to 10%. Chicago's injured. What are Chicago's injuries? They are quad knee shoulder, no illness. Knees, I feel like, are out, and he's a pretty good player. Shoulder, probably okay unless it affects shooting. It's like a different part of the body every time. It's amazing. Quad, I feel like, plays. So some of these injuries could be impactful. Hornets are at 86%. So what are their injuries? This is a level you need to go through to really make this bet. Hornets. Right. Terry Rozier's been on here forever and might go. It's the only one, but he's a big player. Has he been playing? Actually, we can look at his player stats. Terry, how you been doing? You have played only 2 games, so maybe he has not been able to come back, yet they've still been playing okay, even without him, because I keep seeing that injury showing up. So that's a pick. Now, it's a pick for straight bet purposes. You could even consider the 5, but you want to get paid straight bet wise, because especially if you have the in-game cash out option, because of what it pays. So that goes on there, right? Next, I know some of these games have started and it's not all that helpful sometimes, but I want to show the process. Knicks and Hawks, too close. So there's nothing to play. Although there is an illness going through the Knicks, it makes me want to take the Hawks at plus 120, but it doesn't pay enough. Keep going. Sacramento, Miami. Sacramento hurting, but at plus 210. Tough. I think I took them plus 6.5 on the round robin, right? Sacramento. No, I don't have them. So what do you do here? Do you do anything here? Let's look at the injuries for Sacramento. If I have the answer to that. Knee and foot, no illness, and the knee is out though. So he is actually out. Trey Lyles' foot probably plays. So the margin is too low here supposedly anybody wins this game, but they do have a significant injury that is part of this that is part of who are we talking about? But yeah, the Sacramento 78. There is a significant injury that's missing there. So that's like that only wins about 50% of the time, but they don't necessarily win because of the injuries. I think it's a stay away game. So we're starting to get down here. But here we got some really bad lines for these teams. You can't do anything with San Antonio because they are also illness. I saw in their here, right? So they're probably going to lose, but the line's terrible. So you can't really do anything here. Clippers and Houston, about the same health. So it's Houston plus 5.5, but that's only 5.5. It's not enough. Do you take Houston to win, or do you take Utah to win? You don't take Utah to win because they also have illness in their injury report. But so you can see how the games get really tough down here. I think that the Rockets might actually be takeable plus 6. And did I do anything with them on the round robin? I did not. Took Hornets. Did not take them. So I think it's bettable because are there any reasons not to take the Rockets? It's only a 1.8% margin. They're plus 200. Both of these healths, let's double check their healths real quick and then we're done with this video. Houston, and the Clippers, right? Illness on the Clippers. Oh, that almost makes me just want to take Houston immediately. No, kneecap out. So these people are actually out, but there's illness on the Clippers. That is going to probably seal the deal on that, right? Yep. So yeah, you do this because of the illness factor, or we're just going to call that additional injury inference is what we are doing. We're inferring the injury report. So, if you've got, you split up your picks like this, right? This is what I'm going with. Even though I didn't actually obviously make all these bets, this is about right. And we're just going to go with it for analysis purposes. This is what you've got. Assume you cannot cash out. This is $80. Let's split it under $100. I like the formula. Never mind. Let's call it $80. Let's whatever your units are, right? And you can make up to 162% ROI. You can have almost 209 at the end of the night, or 210. But what happens if you start losing stuff, right? Like, what if you lose Houston down here? Because of course that's kind of a toss-up game, but you're getting plus 200. If you lose it, you still make 125% ROI. What if you lose Portland? Right? I hate when I do this because I'm sorry for everybody. I do this, then they lose. If you lose Portland, wow, you're still at 92% ROI. Well, what if you lose Charlotte? You're still at 59% ROI. This is not how this works in the round robin. You start losing round robins and it's like, bam, 294, bam. 100, bam. Now you're a loser, bam, right? So it doesn't work the same way with straight bets. And that's why I feel like I can give you advice about when to take advantage of good lines. Because as you see, we only have one favorite in here, and it's because their margin is so good. The Pelicans' margin is so high up here, and the Lakers are hurt that you're just like, how can I not take this team to win, even at minus 154? And that's the only reason that there's a favorite on there, because the line isn't minus 350 like we think it should be or something. Basically, at that, if you look at the way the color, the way the lines are supposed to be, these 300s are supposed to be up here. They're not. There's a minus 154 up here. So it's weird. It's because they are the Lakers, and I guess they have some home LA money, and that probably influences the game a little bit, but doesn't seem like they have enough to be able to do it. So this is how you do this on a daily basis to give yourself less variance, to hopefully still have enough excitement. I mean, at the end of the night, if you're trying to go 5-5 to be even or something like that, I feel like that's not necessarily all that exciting, but that's also a night where you didn't just completely blow your wad and lose whatever you had in your account, like I tend to do almost every day when I bet like this. But then I have a day where I do this and I'm like, ha ha, everybody, I'm up for the year. And so you really have to decide how you want to do it. And I know the people that make money consistently do it in more of this format, even though their picks may be slightly different in terms of the line. And the in-game cash out option is changing things dynamically. I predict that this will go away simply because it's too easy to take advantage of this. Or I think what I said in the previous video was they will make the payout amount so low in comparison to the final gross payout that even throughout the game, you'll never get anything more than like this. You'll never get anything more than 20. And so taking it will not be as beneficial as waiting. I think that that's what's going to happen, because I see so early in the game, I see the availability to take this at 50% profit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can just make bets like this and catch out 50% of my wager every 20 minutes. Like, are you serious? That's how it works right now. And when I do pay attention to it at night or something, it's very exhausting to stare at it basically like a stock price the entire night. But that is the way to make money if you really want to dedicate your time. I don't recommend that. It's exhausting. I didn't feel good the night that I did that. And I'm not going to do that. That's why I prefer to give advice like this, because you're not going to make as much reliable money nightly as you would if you watch each game and cash out when you can. But that's not available for everyone. Let's assume that it becomes not available, because I think it will become not available. And I have a funny way of predicting things. So there you go. All right. So good luck, everyone. May all these picks be winning. And I hope you're enjoying the algorithms. I think you are, and learn how to use them, because there's just so much you can do to really get answers to your questions, and to just answers to your questions are going to allow you to make more knowledgeable wagers. And that means you're going to be surprised less. And if you are surprised less, that probably means you're winning more. So good luck, everybody. And may all your picks be winning.